a bit emotional still, but I don't want to put this off. That's a video for you, Marty. I love you, bro. I share some fucking life stories. When I was 13 years old, 12 actually, sorry. Went to Dripstone High School in Darwin, and some of my brother's friends went to school there, and I recognised them from metal gigs. And I went and introduced myself. One of the guys I met was Martin William Wiberg, Marty, and he wasn't actually in school. He's just like coming through, fucking smoking with his metalhead mates or something at the time. But shortly after that, he ended up living with my brother, Whedon Street, and I remember visiting my bro and looking up to these guys straight away because they were similar crew to me, but not the next generation, but 3.5 years above me. And uh, so I met Marty and sessions. I smoked it. That's the stage session on with him a bunch, become friends. But when I was 14 years old, me and my mum moved into the Shears Street flats, the Narrow. If you live in Darwin, you know what I'm talking about. It is the pits. There was another block of flats worse, Karingal, but they all got knocked down, and sequentially they just knocked the worst down. I think the Narrows has gone too now. Pray to God. But when we moved in there, it was a really rough situation, and a few flats down from us was Sanjay and Marty living there. Mate Dave Tunstall, the guitarist for their band. I'm not sure if he lived there or was just in and out at the same time, but I got to meet them, and they offered me sanctuary when shit was going rough at home. I want to talk about what I was going through then because it's personal, but it wasn't best for me to be at home most of the time. So I spent a lot of time with Marty and Sanjay just chilling out, and they schooled me on all things metal. I was already into thrash metal, but they introduced me to black metal and death metal in a way that I could really digest. And there's a lot of stories, anecdotal stories I could tell you about just things we went through there and crazy stuff. You know, they shouldn't have been letting me drink underage, but I was only a few years younger than them. They were barely. I don't think they were all even 18 at that stage. Look, life happens, and we all knew Marty. Sanjay, sorry, was dealing with schizophrenia. He'd been open about it always. He never partaked in any drugs or anything like that, and it got bad for him, and he took his own life. And me and Marty became each other's fucking rocks to get through that. Marty and Sanjay were like soul brothers for real. They were hardly ever without each other, and um, you know, Marty knew how much I looked up to Sanjay because Marty was there when I met Sanjay. Um, I got to go through watching them write songs as a band and being in Sanjay's truck in the back with his drum kit or with the drummer's drum kit as we drive out to Noonamar for gigs and stuff, you know. And it's all those days, like me, Marty, we're already close, and we clung on to each other pretty deep after that. About 8 years later, and I tattooed their band logo to my foot at a Bloodshed gig, and someone said they had some Indian ink, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what I want. I tattooed Chimmetry to my foot. Still there, my shoes on. Of course it's still there, it's a tattoo. My shoes are on, so I won't show you right now. Maybe I'll thumbnail this video with a picture of it. But 4 weeks later to the day, I ran into my mate Sid, and he's a drummer. I said, Sid, what are you doing? We should start a band together. And he says to me, actually, Marty's outside and he wants to talk to you about starting Chimmetry back up. And Marty didn't even realize it at the time, but I already know all of their songs on guitar. Just from listening to him over the years, like being there, watching Dave, watching. I never really got to watch Eddie write a lot of his songs, but I'd sat down and listened to him and just like nutted it out, and not accurate, but accurate enough in key and in time to the point where we were able to play our first gig 4 weeks later, and pretty damn tight too. Unfortunately, the singer got up and said some dumb racist on stage, and we don't fuck with that. Especially Marty was like, "Nah, we're not doing Chimmetry now. We're gonna take a break, get rid of that guy from it." And then we got Chimmetry back together. But in the meantime, I started my own band, Kane's Plague, and Marty was my bass player for my band. So anyone who's been in a band, I don't need to tell you, the bond you form when you're writing music with people is, um, yeah. So we did 4 years of gigs. It was a bit. The last gig was the 8th of December 2011 until I left Darwin. Won't get into why, but as mentioned, Chimmetry have 2 albums recorded. They're only demos, but they're great. Death metal, minimal, good stuff. And I'm really proud to be a part of it. I wonder if I hadn't been introduced to that and welcomed in from Marty, if I'd ever have had my own band, you know? Because musicians in metal can be hard to get. Like, I'm a scummer, I'm not a professional guy. And then, like, the drummers that have jobs and stuff, they're not looking for guitarists like me. And I had to deal with that. Marty's the same. We come from the sticks. Oh, sorry, not the sticks. We come from the hard life, and we've had hard lives. So we were able to do stuff together and actually make music. And um, I guess every musician that came before me and made music with Marty, I owe it to you guys. I thank you that you put Marty in a position where he could lift me up like that, and sharing a stage with you, Marty. Oh, that's it. That was the peak of my life. The absolute peak moments have been that, and looking back on it. And now we spoke about doing my band under Kane's Plague in the future. Might share some of those messages to say. Might share a bunch of our messages. But, I never got back to Darwin. I have to go back to Darwin to do this. And yesterday, I got the tragic news that in March, on my birthday, Marty was assaulted, and he never woke up. And yesterday, he passed away. And I just wanted to share some things about one of the best friends that I ever had. And thank God and the universe for giving me such wonderful human in my life. Such good guidance and support. That there are times where Marty was the only person there for me. He was the only one capable of holding space for me when my family couldn't. And you are my family, you know that, Marty. Martin William Wiberg, you are my brother. I fucking love you till the day I die. I'll think of you every day, every time I play guitar. And it sucks this has happened on my birthday, but I'm gonna take the positive from that and just remember, use that as a day to celebrate. I'm broken. One of the kindest people that I've ever met. I've met one person that I can confidently say loves cats more than me. And I want to remind people of that. Anyone that knows Marty, I just want to remind you of how big his heart was for cats, so that you can go and pat a cat on his behalf. He would love that. Say hi to your cats for Marty, you know. And I hope there's an afterlife. And Marty, I'm glad that you'll be with Sanjay now, because I know he's your life wasn't the same without him, and I realised that. I'm glad that we could be friends. I'm gonna share some Geometry songs on my walk coming soon. And I'd be really appreciate it if anyone that knew him could leave a tribute and just say something kind, share a memory. So, I love you all. Stay metal. Geometry forever. Marty, I love you, bro. Till we see you again.